Hi, Reverend Paula Zabkar here from Spiritual Soul Center. Let's take a moment at this time to just get in touch with our heart, to take a breath in and to take a breath out and to become still into this moment now. To leave all of the anxiety or stress or whatever has been happening in the last week and to let it be set aside for just this moment. As one of my favorite Soul Center cards says, leave everything as it is and rest your weary mind. And to notice the peace that is available to you right in this very moment. To simply be still. To notice the breath. And to feel at ease in this very moment now. For that great gift, we are grateful, and so it is. Amen. Well, I've been thinking this week about foundations. I'm not sure how it came up in my awareness, but I believe that we all know the importance of and recognize the importance of a strong foundation, right? If we've raised children, it's exactly what we hope they carry with them as they go out the door on their way to college or on their way to the next job or as they go into a roommate situation, as they get their footing under them. Or we might recognize the foundation that we've received from our parents as we grew up and how we left the home. Or maybe it's been a friend or a minister or a teacher who's really counseled you and really demonstrated something that's helped you with your own foundation. We've had those experiences, haven't we? One of my jobs in the past has been as a construction contract administrator, and I've built a lot of buildings, helped build a lot of buildings in the southeastern North Carolina area. And one thing that is very apparent is how important a foundation is to a building. You may go past a construction site and they may be there for a long time, moving dirt around and seemingly not doing a whole lot. But I'll tell you, it's exactly during that time that the foundation is laid for the building. And there is all sort of work going on. There is excavation and moving out dirt that's not suitable to support a building on. There is sending piles in the earth sometimes and pounding them in there to make sure that building's going to stand. There is concrete and steel being poured and inspectors inspecting and all sorts of things happening until that moment when the superintendent and all those who've been involved says, we're out of the ground. We're ready to build. We're out of the ground. It's such a monumental time in the construction of a building to get to that point. You know, the same thing is with the foundation of all plant life in all of the earth. You know, without the root system in plants, whether it's trees or grasses or flowers or sedges or reeds, whatever it is, there's this root system that holds it up. Without that root system, none of the beauty that they are is visible. None. It's where plants get their nourishment, where they get minerals and nutrients and water. And without that foundation, there is no beauty. Without the foundation in the building, there is no beauty in architecture. And you know what? It's the same thing for us. We have a foundation. We have a foundation. No, it's not steel and concrete, or it's not the fibrous root system of a plant. And it doesn't keep us in one place like the foundations of those systems are. But it's true that our foundation keeps us steady, keeps us grounded, and keeps us from collapsing in the same way the foundations do for plants and buildings. And like I said, while it's not the same, there are similarities. There are similarities. And this idea of standing strong and not collapsing under the weight of living life is one of them. So what is it? What is our foundation? What makes up the human foundation that is similar to these foundations that I've described? Well, I think it's much more tender and at the same time immensely strong and important. One of the things out of the two things that I want to share with you today, the first is character. Our character forms our foundation. It is the traits and qualities that sustain us, that support us. Our traits and qualities that make up our individual and unique nature. So the question is, does your nature, do those qualities and traits allow you to be beauty in the world? Are they the thing that grounds you and prevents you from collapsing? Is that what they are? Are they strong enough to do that? Are they strong enough to show your beauty? And the second thing are our beliefs, our convictions. Now, our convictions are based many times, and our convictions in this way of talking are based on things that often aren't provable. There isn't a lot of evidence, but it's something we trust. And so the question is again, do my convictions, do my beliefs support the beauty that the world sees in me? Do they allow me to stand strong and grounded and not collapse when I encounter the topsy-turvy world that we live in? Our character and our convictions are revealed in the visible world by our actions. By our actions. Just like the building and just like the plant, we emerge from our foundation and we are seen in the world. And there's a couple quotes that we are familiar with that really demonstrate this, right? We know these quotes. There's one from Ralph Waldo Emerson that says this: "Who you are speaks so loudly, I can't hear what you're saying." Right? Who you are speaks so loudly. The foundation of you is coming through so loudly. I don't hear a word you're saying. It's through actions. And Maya Angelou says it this way: when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. Right? When someone shows you who they are, when someone is coming from their foundation, coming from their character, and coming from their beliefs. That's how they're revealed in the visible world without us saying a word. So, our foundation matters. So what should we do with it? It's not something that's static. You know, even in a building, sometimes the foundation cracks or the building cracks, which means the foundation isn't holding it up. Or sometimes a plant withers. It needs to be nourished by water. And I think we need to nourish our foundation in the same way. We need to nourish our character. What does that mean? To nourish our character means to pay attention. To pay attention to it. To check in with our character. To check in with the level, for instance, of our integrity. The level of our generosity. The level of our compassion. The level of our intention in the world. The level, too, of our judgment. The level of our hatred or contempt. Or hatred or authenticity. All those kinds of things, to check in and say, where is my level of that? To be honest with ourselves, and maybe we need to shore up that character once in a while. You know, when the foundation starts to degrade on a building, boy, everybody gathers around. Everybody pays a lot of attention. There's a lot of head scratching going on when those cracks appear in the building that telegraph what's happening underground. Everybody wants to figure out, how do we shore this up? And I think we should be doing the same thing with our character. How do I want to shore this up, so that I can be beautiful in the world, so that I can show up as beauty, so I can show up of strength, so I show up as not collapsing with every small thing or large thing that happens in my life. So do you feel grounded and beautiful? And what needs attention? Nourish your character. Pay attention to it. And the same is true for our beliefs as well. I need to pay attention to them. I need to be willing to look them over and see if they still serve the beauty that I want to project in the world. That's what we need to pay attention to pay attention to our beliefs so we can be the best we can be, so that we feel as if we're grounded, so we feel as if we can weather any storm. What do you trust is really a question about beliefs. What do you believe about God, about life after death? What do you believe about your worth and the worth of every other living human being? What is your soul purpose? What about who you are? Who are you really? All these statements, they deserve attention. They deserve some examination because they're part of your foundation. They're part of my foundation. And what the world sees is a reflective of that. So am I showing up as beauty based on my character, my convictions, my beliefs, the nature of me? To pay attention to those. They deserve attention. They deserve attention. Because engaging in this topsy-turvy world, we need to be able to rely on our foundation. And my question for me and my question for you is my foundation allowing me to be beauty in the world? When you are of sound character and when your beliefs are strong and they come from goodness, then it is beauty that everyone will see in you. That's the way it works, I think. That's what happens when our foundations are built on goodness. So let's take that into meditation today. Let's do some self-examination and just sit and recognize in our own selves, what do I trust in? What do I believe in? What is the level of those traits and qualities in me that I want to be revealed in the world? Breathing in and breathing out in this one exquisite moment now. So having spent this time in gentle observation and consideration, what has it revealed? What is it that I've become aware of? How is it that I can be beauty in the world? From a foundation of character and belief that is strong, that prevents me from collapsing and is built on goodness and love. For this time of quiet reflection, our hearts can be grateful, our minds can be open and clear, and so it is. Amen. Well, thank you for spending some time with me today. I hope it was useful to you. And I always believe that whatever I have to share is particularly useful for my own self. So I appreciate this message coming through as something that I can reflect on this week of what is my belief? What do I put my trust in? What is it in my character that needs a little shoring up? And let me do that so that the beauty that I am can shine through most brightly this week. So let's close with this prayer. Feel it in your heart as you say it aloud or to yourself. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be happy. May all beings be filled with loving kindness. May all be well. May all be peaceful and at ease. May all be happy. And so it is. See you next time. Amen.